Coming up next on this special Art Beat edition of Arizona Horizon, we'll see how a photographer turns autos into art. The Celebrity Theater turns 50 this year, and we'll see how some folks are learning to paint with a twist. That's next on this special edition of Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to this special Art Beat edition of Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. We start tonight with a look at a local artist who proves that you don't have to be a car buff to appreciate the beauty of automobiles. Producer Christina Estes and photographer Juan Magana take us to an exhibit featuring automotive artifacts.
Inside the Chandler Center for the Arts, you can almost hear the rubber hit the road.
Older cars especially have so many unique characteristics.
And Brenda Priddy has captured them. Her collection features styles, designs, and shapes we rarely see.
The mascots, the hood ornaments that they used years ago, they can't use today. They're not safe, especially for pedestrians and car accidents and such. But the hood ornaments from years ago were just beautiful. They were stunning. I mean, they could be, Pontiac uses a lot of Native American Indians, which today probably wouldn't be politically correct, but they're just beautiful hood ornaments. The script, the writing on so many of the old badges was elegant or modern. It just fit the era.
Priddy took most of these photos at car shows with thousands of people milling around.
I might walk around a car and take 50 or 60 photos and then walk away for a few minutes, and as the sky is changing, walk back and take another 50 or 60.
This photo is titled Calling Mr. Edsel.
It is a Ford Edsel, and I said calling Mr. Edsel because the steering wheel almost looks like it would be a push-button phone. But instead, it's push buttons for the automatic shifting on the car.
This one's called Studebaker, of course.
And we named it that because people look at this photo and they try to guess what it is, and they never guess it on the first time, or usually even on the second time. They start out with Corvette and then they try to think what other vehicles are V8. But the script on top is the bottom of the writing for Studebaker.
One wall features photos from a recent trip to Cuba.
When they see somebody from America, the first thing they say is, Detroit? Do you know Detroit?
She quickly discovered how much pride they have in their rides.
I was taking a picture of one car, and this man came up to me, and I couldn't communicate with him very well because he didn't speak English and I didn't speak Spanish. But he took me by the arm to his car, and he had a daisy on his license plate and some flowers by the emblem or by the hood ornament. And so I spent a lot of time taking pictures of that.
With little to no access to replacement parts, Cubans must really care for their cars.
They do whatever they can. So you might find a 1957 Chevy with a Japanese diesel engine in it, but it's still a magnificent car, and it might have 15 layers of paint.
Priddy snapped about 10,000 photos in Cuba and ended up in a few herself.
People were so pleased that I would choose their automobiles to take pictures of. You know, they would open the hood, they would have me sit inside, they'd want to take pictures of me with my camera by their car, so it made them feel good as well.
Next, we look at the Phoenix Symphony's new season, which features, among other things, a new music director. Phoenix Symphony President and CEO Jim Ward talks about the new season. Good to see you again.
Good, Ted. Good to see you.
How are things with the Symphony?
The Symphony's doing really very well, and we're finishing up a blockbuster season this season and looking forward to an even better season next season.
The first time we talked, the first time you took over, it wasn't doing all that well, and it sounds like things have improved. Is that true?
Absolutely. Just on the business side, when I came aboard about 3.5 years ago, yeah, the Symphony was not doing very well. There was a structural deficit in debt, but due to some great work from our musicians who sacrificed some salary restoration and a great staff and a great board and community, we have paid off all of our debt. We've managed to balance our budget, and we're looking great as we move forward.
I was going to ask, what is the relationship now with musicians and contracts and salaries, the whole 9 yards?
Well, listen, our musicians a number of years ago took a 19% cut in their pay, the largest of any American orchestra up until that time, and they sacrificed the restoration of that salary to give us enough time to be able to to stabilize the symphony, and we now have gotten them back on a path towards that. Not completely there, but I believe if you were to ask them, they would express great confidence in the direction of the symphony and very good morale overall. And so we have a great relationship.
There's a new direction as far as music is concerned, the new music director, Tito Munoz. Who is Tito Munoz?
Tito Munoz is a ball of fire is who Tito Munoz is. Tito grew up in Queens, New York, and rode a subway train every day over to the FAME school, the LaGuardia School. And then he went to Juilliard Prep and then debuted with the National Symphony Orchestra. He then went to Aspen and the summer festivals and won all of the music director awards. He was an assistant conductor at the Cincinnati Orchestra and then a resident conductor at the famed Cleveland Orchestra, arguably the best in the world.
Oh, yeah. Went
on to be a music director at Orchestre Nancy in France, and now he's coming to Phoenix. All in the span of a number of years, and he's about 30 years old, so he's done a lot in his time frame.
What does he bring to the Phoenix Symphony?
Well, he brings three things, Ted, that we were very focused on in terms of our selection. First of all, he brings chemistry and inspiration with our musicians, and that's critical to having the sound be produced at the level that it needs to be produced. So that's the first thing. Secondly, he brings a commitment to our overall vision and mission of helping to educate the next generation of a creative workforce here in Arizona. And Tito is very committed to education and our community outreach programs, and that was extremely important to us as well. And then the third thing that he brings to us is, because of his both wisdom and youth at the same time, he brings to us the capability of trying to determine what the next generation of a symphony is, what the 21st century symphony looks like, what a Symphony 2.0 might be, and how that might appeal to a younger audience of which he's a member.
What does Symphony 2.0 look like?
Well, Ted, there are a lot of things that we've observed over the course of time with a younger audience. Of course, it has developed with potentially a shorter attention span, digesting media in shorter chunks. A younger generation also digests music and visuals at the same time. And so that suggests different programming options for us, incorporating audiovisual elements, having different length concerts, incorporating social elements, both literally socially with other people, but also social media as well. So there's a whole new horizon of things that we could potentially do with the Phoenix Symphony, and that's something that Tito brings as well.
And I want to talk about the next season here and the schedule and what you have planned there. But back to Tito real quickly. You mentioned chemistry, how important that was.
Yes.
Do you audition these guys in front of the orchestra and just do you watch their body language? Do you get their input? Do you want to hear what the oboe section has to say about the new guy?
All of the above. Tito, we spent 2.5 years identifying who our next music director would be. And the orchestra members are extremely involved, both from a committee perspective, but then after every candidate comes in, we do a quantitative study with the orchestra who gives us their input, and then qualitatively we sit down with them as well. Tito actually came in twice, and you also sit in the audience and hear the sound and see how the audience reacts, and you see that interaction. And there are many, many variables that go into this, but absolutely the musicians are involved.
And now let's talk about, we mentioned Symphony 2.0 and how you need to kind of change things a little bit. I noticed next season you've got everything from the music of Queen, which better pay Bohemian Rhapsody in that one, and Led Zeppelin and Neil Diamond to Dvorak's Ninth, which I love the Largo movement. It's about the only thing I can say with knowledge that I know about classical music.
Good.
I mean, talk about this next season, and again, with a new music director, what changes?
Well, Tito was involved in the development of our next season as well as our musicians, and we have a great season. It's going to kick off with opening night. It's Tito's first entree to Phoenix, and he's going to be conducting Stravinsky's Firebird Suite, which is a personal favorite of his, but then Carl Orff's Carmina Burana, which everybody knows because it's used as a music track to every trailer and TV commercial known to mankind, but it's actually an amazing work. We're going to have our symphony, 140 members of the Phoenix Choir and the Phoenix Boys Choir all on stage at the same time. So it's going to be a magnificent jump off to the season. But we have an amazing classic season program, and and pops as well. And it is diverse, from a brand new Legend series where we're bringing in effect, cover bands to cover the music of Led Zeppelin and Queen and the #1 cover band for Neil Diamond, Super Diamond, but to play with the symphony orchestra, and that's great. We're also going to be projecting for the first time here in Phoenix the great movie Singing in the Rain, and we're going to be playing the score live while you're watching that movie. So that's great. We're also doing a unique collaboration, believe it or not, with Phoenix International Raceway, who's celebrating their 50th anniversary, and also Barrett Jackson. And we're going to be doing a whole benefit where we're going to shut down streets in front of Symphony Hall, create pit row, bring cars in, and then have everybody go on inside for a concert called The Speed of Sound. And we're going to celebrate racing and cars with music and movie clips and all sorts of fun activities. So,
well, before you go, we only got about 30 seconds left. The long-time subscription holders here, how are they handling all this stuff?
Oh, they're handling it well. In fact, you know, the normal churn or degradation of subscriptions in the industry is 12 to 15%. We're holding steady, and in fact, because of Tito Munoz, we're actually increasing subscribers this year. So they're very excited about it. In addition to the fact that we're up 20% in single ticket sales as well.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like things are happening, and it sounds like an exciting program. It's good to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
Okay.
The iconic Celebrity Theater, now 50 years old, has hosted everyone from Sammy Davis Jr. to Bruce Springsteen. Producers Shauna Fisher and photographers Ed Kishel and Scott Olson show us how one man turned his dream into a reality enjoyed by many.
As a little boy, Rich Hazelwood knew he would own the Celebrity Theater one day.
My paper route was across the street, and I would ride my bike by here going to my paper route when they started building it. And we would stop, since I was an early morning paper boy, a Republic paper boy, we used to watch them bring all the cranes and stuff in to build it.
Some 40 years later, and his wish has come true. Hazelwood bought the theater in 2002 and has put more than $1 million into renovating it.
I'm not a musical person, I'm a business guy. And I looked at all of the things that I thought, the positive parts that I could fix up and make the place really good. As you look around, you can see the incredible change that the place has gone through over the last 10 or 12 years. We just keep getting a little bit nicer, a little bit cleaner. The acts get a little bit better. Those are the kind of things that drive me. I'm not musical at all.
One thing that hasn't changed about the 192-foot diameter theater, the intimate setting. It can hold 2,650, and there isn't a bad seat in the house.
The experience I think you get from coming to a concert here is that you're in the middle of an act, especially in a sold-out act. You just are a part of it. The furthest seat's 72 feet from the stage, so you're right in the middle of it. And the act, you can tell the act because they know they're in the middle of it. And that enthusiasm builds throughout the whole place. It's an incredible feeling when everybody's on their feet and singing or dancing or screaming. It's an incredible feeling.
Adding to the uniqueness of the theater is its 360-degree rotating stage that puts an act directly in front of fans. Because of its small size and partly because of that round stage, it can sometimes be hard to book musical acts. So Hazelwood and his team worked hard to get the theater designated an historic landmark.
A lot of acts won't play around theater. And I just think the fact that we have got a historical designation, believe it or not, it turns the acts on. So I think when they come in and they know all of these things and we try to relay that to them, then they start to feel a little bit more important by playing here. So that's a big plus for us.
It's not just the building itself that has history. Step into the lounge, and all around is memorabilia from the last 50 years. A Bruce Springsteen concert t-shirt, a signed Stevie Nicks photo, a ticket stub from Diana Ross's concert, and dozens of autographed guitars.
I think if we own something, sometimes we start to really take it for granted. I think that's the fun part of owning this place, is standing on the stage, knowing maybe last night or the night before we had an incredible act on the stage, and I own it. I think that's really exciting to me. Where's the show?
A new survey looks at the demand and availability of affordable art spaces in Mesa. Cindy Ornstein, Executive Director of the Mesa Arts Center and Director of the Mesa Arts and Culture Department, and Mesa City Councilwoman Terry Bonelli talk about the report. Good to see you both. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us.
The Mesa Art Space Project, what are we talking about?
We're talking about a collaboration of several Mesa organizations with the city and most importantly with ArtSpace, which is a nonprofit out of Minneapolis, Minnesota that has developed spaces for creative businesses and artists across the country, but they've never done one in Arizona.
And this is, again, a look for affordable art spaces, not only for artists, but for businesses, correct?
It sure is. The project would potentially consist of 50 to 60 apartments for artists that would basically have a rent cap so that the apartments would be affordable for about 15 years. The bottom floor of the project, because it would likely be a multi-story project, would be for creative businesses.
That's interesting. Now, again, it sounds a little bit public, a little bit private here. What's the dynamic there?
Well, ArtSpace is a nonprofit, and in the pre-development phase, the City of Mesa is a partner in trying to make sure we have everything, all our ducks in a row to be able to do this project. After that, it is constructed, managed, and run by the ArtSpace organization, so it's a private nonprofit organization that's running it. But there are things like tax credits, et cetera, that play into making it an affordable project. And these are not just living spaces for artists, they're live-work spaces, so there's studio spaces in them as well. Well,
let's talk about the survey now. What did the survey exactly look at?
So the survey looked at the interest in artists that we would have coming to Mesa to live in the project. It also looked for creative art businesses and art organizations to see if they would be interested in renting space inside the project.
And what did you find?
Well, overwhelming response, over 600 artists that were interested in moving to Mesa and living in the project, and over 100 art organizations that were interested in the project and said that they would love to have more information going forward.
That kind of response surprise you at all?
Well, we were expecting a good response, but we're really pleased that it was many multiples of the amount that were necessary to give a green light to the project. So we're really happy that we got the response we did, and not just from artists in Mesa. We surveyed across the valley, and it was collaborative. We worked with many other cities in the valley to make sure that we could gather information that was valley-wide, and we're sharing the results with those cities, so we hope lots of similar projects will pop up across the valley.
Demand for art space. Let's go to downtown Mesa, where things are, if they're not happening right now, they're going to be happening soon with light rail. Right. Demand for art space down there, what are you finding out?
Well, we're finding out that people are excited about what's happening in Mesa. They're interested in being near the Arts Center. They're interested in being in a community of artists, and I think a lot of people do feel that there's quite a buzz about Mesa as a place for creativity and innovation, and so we're really gratified they want to come be part of that community.
From the council's point of view, how do you take that buzz, if it's out there, and say, we got something going on here in downtown Mesa? Again, with a survey like this, how does a politician and public policy folks, how do you put that in practice?
You know, I think our goal is just to make this happen and make it be the smoothest process possible for the developer. We know that the community values the arts in Mesa. It's our art and cultural district for the city, and we just want to tap into that excitement.
As far as design elements, as far as building features, what did the survey tell you?
Well, we know that there are certain things that artists want. I think the biggest thing was people wanted natural light. I believe they wanted high ceilings and open space that they could design for themselves. I'm trying to remember a couple of the other requirements.
You know, one of the other things that they look at is the size spaces that they need. Many of the projects have studio apartments all the way up to 3-bedroom apartments, and I think the returns that we got were more for single or maybe 2 people living in the apartments more so than families, but that changes as artists, you know, grow up and have families, and artists can stay in these projects for, you know, for their entire life. So they could move in a studio and move up to a 3-bedroom with children and then move back down if they're still income qualified.
Interesting. Now, how was this particular survey conducted?
So it was online, and it was also done in person. Neighborhood Economic Development Corporation had one person that was kind of their job for 2 months, was to go out, go to art events, go to art organizations, go to classes at ASU. Anywhere where there was a gathering of artists, we were at, getting information from the survey. NEDCO also does an art entrepreneur program, and we had help from those art entrepreneurs that we had trained over the years to help with the art scene in Mesa.
I remembered something else that people said they wanted that I think is important. They wanted shared community space, shared gallery space. And that is the feature of most art-based projects. The artists really enjoy being part of a community of artists and being able to have an impact on the community. So things like open studio tours and community galleries. And in fact, it's very common for coffee shops to pop up in these developments.
Oh, sure. Now, has this kind of survey been conducted before in Mesa, in Arizona? And if so, how does this compare to the results?
No, it has not been done in Arizona before, but it is the same survey that ArtSpace has used in many other communities. And they usually, they have a requirement for 3-to-1 redundancy, meaning whatever number they think they need for the project, they have to have at least 3 times that number saying that they're interested, and they exceeded that. So that went beautifully, and apparently is better than it's been in some other markets.
From a public policy, and again, from the council standpoint, you got business interests. You want to make sure you're getting the most bang for your buck in terms of property, especially downtown Mesa with all the investment of light rail. Is everyone on board with this, or are some folks saying it's nice to have nonprofits down there with artists, but we need businesses, we need some kind of more firm or more traditional kind of a business?
You know what, Ted, I have to tell you, the first time that I met the administrators from ArtSpace when they were here doing a pre-feasibility study, I had a business meeting with the businesses along Main Street, and they had just come from visiting the mayor and council, and they said the first time in their history that they had walked into a room and everybody was on the same page. The council and the mayor all had seen ArtSpace projects across the country, and they were ready to go, so full support.
And I think it's important to mention that ArtSpace projects typically bring a lot of other businesses into the areas where they develop. And in addition, they don't just serve nonprofits. They have creative businesses like videographers and graphic design firms that actually work in their spaces. So you're bringing additional businesses into the community as well.
Real quickly, last question. Where do we go from here?
We hire architects, and we go for LIHTC tax credits next April.
And we're working to raise the money to do all that pre-development work, the design and everything.
All right. Well, congratulations. It sounds like things are happening there in downtown Mesa, all over Mesa, I guess. And I'm sure artists are very pleased to hear what you both discussed tonight. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining.
Ted.
Thank you for having us.
We end tonight's show by recognizing the struggling artist within us. Producer Shauna Fisher and photographer Ed Kishel introduce us to a place where you can unleash your inner Picasso.
The creativity is in full force on a Thursday night at Painting with a Twist.
Painting with a Twist is a place where you can come with your friends or family and you find your inner artist.
The new business in Tempe is hoping to inspire the artist in everyone, and you don't need to know a Matisse from a Renoir. Owner Chernelle Mays brings in local artists who can teach you how to paint like a pro.
I feel bringing local artists into our studio not only helps them build their clientele with their personal art, but also just having them, our customers coming in and seeing that we're supporting our local artists, that's the most important thing.
Each night showcases a different genre. In this session, students are learning about Impressionism through the work of Vincent van Gogh and his famous painting, Starry Night. The students learn how to hold a brush to mimic Van Gogh's brushstroke look. They also work with bright colors to achieve the rich look in the original painting. Every move of the artist teacher is broadcast on a monitor so students can follow along.
An artist teaching me is a lot better, like a pathway. You know, honestly, when I look at the painting, I don't think I can do it. But when she sits there and walks it step by step, I'm like, oh, if mine looks just like hers and hers looks perfect, like, I can do it, I can do it.
Having like a professional artist show you the ropes helps a whole lot because they're very step by step. It's more like a paint by number, so it's not as crazy as you just looking at the painting and having to do it yourself. That definitely helps.
Recreating a masterpiece can feel a bit daunting, But you do get a little help here thanks to the twist, a chance to sip while you paint.
BYOB helps because most people come in here, they're nervous, they can't paint, they feel like they can't paint. So bringing in a little wine helps them relax and helps them get loose, and they create beautiful art.
The bring your own beverage, I think it has a different twist on it because it loosens you up a little bit. You can open up with everybody, talk to your neighbor. You just go with the paint, just go with it.
Painting with a twist uses acrylic paints, so they dry quickly, which means you get to take home your artwork at the end of the night, along with some great memories.
It's more than the art, it's how you feel when you leave. Most people feel like they accomplished something, and they know that they had a great time, and it's something that they want to continue to do.
That is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us on this special Art Beat edition of Arizona Horizon. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of 8, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.